I've seen some people are okay on fitment with these, but what I found in my case was that you can't really see, but these screws, when you tighten them, when they thread in, they may or may not be perfectly straight downward. So when you go to install them onto the motherboard, you might be able to get, let's see if you can get a better angle. You might be able to get, you know, 2 or 3 of them in, but they start to interfere with one another on that. So the way I have it now is the only way that it'll go in. It's obviously not straight, and some of them, let's see if my camera will focus, it won't, aren't in all the way. And what they're doing is getting caught on the threads on the motherboard. And so it kind of actually makes it a pain to take out. Sometimes it can get wedged in there because the threads kind of lock up on you. So I found a way, I think, to get this installed. And I'm gonna change how these thumb screws are screwed on here and then transition over, since I've only got one hand to record and do the work. So what I've done is loosened up the threads here so that they are now, you can wiggle them, and I loosened up the top left, top right, and bottom right ones, and I've left this bottom left screw fully tightened because when I go to put this in here, I'm going to use these pliers to then get underneath the heatsink and tighten them up once they've been threaded through. And you see now that I've done this, when I go to insert it, it inserts pretty much perfectly. I don't have to do any finagling or anything. And yeah, it sits there perfectly. So highly recommend trying that if you're having fitment issues. And then I'm able to just get in there and tighten up these little finger pieces till it gets fully tightened, and then you can install it with the nuts on the back of the mounting hardware. All right, so here is the finished installation of the fan and all the other parts of the motherboard. So, you know, the first part of the video, obviously I still had the sticky tape on the backside of the radiator. Removed that, put the thermal paste on the CPU, and was able to install it. You know, it's on there nice and tight. I was able to get it threaded on. You know, like what other people have been seeing, you barely get those screws threaded on there. So I know in the user manual it says not to use the longer mounts, but it might be a consideration if you have enough space off your motherboard. But they're nice and tight now, and you know, no motherboard bending, which is good. I know that's been a problem with this fan on some motherboards. Just a slight bend going top to bottom, but nothing too bad. Should be nice and secured and ready to go in the case.